Hello everyone, this is the welding learning paper for year 1 for term 2. I'm going to go through it and all your study work for you so that you can prepare properly for the exam. Okay, so what I have here in front of me is the demarcation, aka your learning paper, and then I have the book, your file that you have, that's your learner guide. That's the two stuff that you need to study. That's the two stuff that's going to help you pass. Okay, so to explain to you firstly on this page that the demarcation, you'll see it says Mogale Special School, demarcation Q2 2025, year 1 welding, and then it gives you the date that you guys are writing, the date that you received your learning paper, and then topics to study. Okay, so how this I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to say topic 1. I'm going to read through it for you, and then I'll show you in your learner guide where it is, and we'll explain it in the learner guide as well. Okay, so topic number 1, it is steps to handle an injury. You will see on the demarcation, it says page 9. So you take your learner guide, you go to page 9. And it clearly states there 6.2, what are the steps to follow when handling an injury, and there we have 6.2, what are the steps to follow when handling an injury. So it's important that you know all 6 steps, and that all 6 these steps happen in the same correct order as it is written down here. So the first one we have says assess the wound. Assess the wound. Number 2, stop the bleeding. Number 3, disinfect the wound. Number 4, put the dressing on the wound. Number 5, send the learner to the office. And then number 6, phone the parents. So all 6 of this stuff is important, and you have to follow it number 1 to number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, and 6. Okay, that is the first topic that you need to study. Then we go to topic number 2. It says 2, safety equipment, PPE, and then it says technical knowledge. Technical knowledge means it is knowledge that you have gotten by doing practical work. So that thing is, it's supposed to be PPE, personal protective equipment. That is the stuff that you use to protect you and your clothing when you are doing practical work, like for example an overall, a welding helmet, safety gloves, safety boots, all those stuff. You are supposed to know it because you use it when you are doing practical. Then number 3, components of the inverter arc welder on page 16. There you have a nice picture of the inverter arc welder with numbers that correlate to the parts of the arc welder, the components. You are supposed to study this picture like it is here. You are supposed to know where number 1 comes, where number 2 goes, where number 3 goes, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, up to number 8. And you must know what the name is of each number. So for number 1 we have here, it is the carry handle. For number 2 it's the on and off switch, it is there. Number 3 is the setting switch. Number 4, the electrode holder or the welding rod holder. Number 5, the earth clamp. Number 6, you have a wire brush or chipping hammer. And then number 7, the overload LED. And number 8 is your welding screen or welding helmet. That is the stuff that you need to know. You need to be able to put each name at the correct place by the picture. Then we're moving on to number 4, measuring tools on page 10. Okay, on page 10 you have about 12 tool pieces or measuring instruments. You guys need to study the name and the picture of each instrument, because in the test you might get the picture, then you have to write down the name, or you might get the name and then you have to draw the picture. So the first one we have there, it's called a measuring tape. The second one, it's a steel ruler. The third one over here, it's a combination square. The fourth one, it's a divider or a compass. The fifth one, it's a meter square. The sixth one, it's a spirit level. Seventh one, it is a scriber. The eighth one, it's a vernier caliper. Then the last one, it is chalk. Then we go up to number 5, hand tools on page 11 and page 12. There we have a lot of hand tools. The same thing that you need to study. You need to study the picture as well as the name, so that you can end up with all of them. Either you're going to get a picture and you have to write the correct name down, or you get the name and you have to identify or draw the right picture. Okay, so the first 6 are there. I'm going to go through them. First one, it's files. Second one, a star screwdriver. Third one, we have a flat screwdriver. Then the fourth one over here, it's a vice grip. The fifth one, it's a ring flat spanner. It has a flat end and it has a ring end. So a ring flat spanner. Then at the sixth one, it's bench vise, what you use to hold your materials when you are doing a project. Then we move down a bit. Number 7, we have a combination plier. Number 8, a long nose plier. Number 9, the side cutter. Then on page 12, on top we have a chipping hammer. Then we have a hacksaw. Then we have drill bits. Then we have a cross peen hammer. If you are not sure why it says cross peen, if you look at it on that side, it has a flat edge that is used. It's not like a round hammer or a claw hammer that has a round side and the claw on the other side. So next one, it's the claw hammer. Same thing, it has the round side on one side, and then we have a claw to remove nails on the other side. Then we have the ball peen hammer, also a round side and then a ball shaped other side. This is used when you have to shape sheet metal or steel plate. Then the next ones we have there, it's a rubber mallet. It's just a big hammer that's made out of rubber. Then we have a sledgehammer. Then we have a pop rivet gun. Then we have a press drill vise. Then we have Allen keys. Then we have welding magnets. And then the last 3 that we have is a G-clamp, a tin snip, and a water pump plier. That is all the hand tools that you need to study. Then we can move on to number 6, that is on page 13, characteristics of non-ferrous metals. So on page 13, you will see On the top it starts with non-ferrous metals over here. Then we get a sentence, and I'm going to read the sentence for you. It says, non-ferrous metal does not contain iron, therefore it is not magnetic and is more resistant against corrosion or rust than ferrous metals. In that sentence, there is 3 characteristics, so 3 of them. I want you to underline them in your work so that you can study them and that you can follow in this video. So I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to read it again. Non-ferrous metal does not contain iron, it is not magnetic and is more resistant against rust. Those are 3 characteristics. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Those are your characteristics of non-ferrous metals. In that order, number 1, number 2, number 3. Then number 7, the last part, characteristics of ferrous metals on page 14. We turn around the page. Then we start getting the sentence again for ferrous metals. And it goes like this. Ferrous metal contains iron, is magnetic, and it is less resistant against corrosion. So the same thing with the non-ferrous metals. Underline the correct parts. We go in again. Ferrous metal contains iron, is magnetic, less resistant against corrosion or rust. Number 1, 2, and 3. That is the characteristics of ferrous metals. Just one more small piece of advice for the last 2 topics, non-ferrous and ferrous metals. If you can remember the characteristics of one type, let's say you remember ferrous metal, the characteristics of the other type of metal, in this case non-ferrous metals, will be the exact opposite. So if non-ferrous metal does not contain iron, that means that ferrous metal is going to contain iron. It's just the exact same opposite. Good luck with your study work. I hope you prepare well and that you do good in the tests.